but I think it's important for the audience, especially for Av as part of his cannabis working or teaching, was that you talked about making this this concoction for you to put your seed in to then pull the endophytes back in. Do you believe it would be true if you used that concoction as a foliar spray that you could actually get it back into a plant that was already growing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt about it.
Wow.
What happens is the bacteria will colonize the meristems, the shoot meristem, and those meristems when they're growing, when the leaves are a little tiny, right? They actually have some bacteria growing around them and in them, and that's where there's sugars and stuff around that meristematic area, and so you could put those microbes as a foliar and get them to colonize the shoot. So in theory, you could have like a plant that has microbes in the top part and below has fewer, right? So you could have these, for any given crop, you'd have to test it. Most of the work where you see this foliar working are monocots, because monocots will have, like corn, for example, or vanilla. They have a shoot. They have where the leaves go around it like that. It's almost like a vase, and then they'll have water growing, liquid that has sugars in it, growing in that vase, right? And the microbes are cultivated in that little vase area, that little moist area. So if you ever check corn, if you go in the morning and look at your corn, and look right down into the shoot, you'll see a droplet of water there. And then in the afternoon, it'll be gone, right? It'll be absorbed back in. But you have that constant. The plant is bathing that meristem. And so if you put your microbes there, then they'll be absorbed into those tissues. So yeah, you could absolutely, you could put them right on the as a foliar.
So do you think that pool of liquid, which is probably easy water, is actually a sponge to absorb airborne microbes as well?
I don't discount anything. Yeah, it would likely, and we know that dust particles and microbes float in the air, and raindrops will form around particles, sometimes around bacterial particles. So yeah, I do think that that's a source for other microbes to get into the plant. Maybe even carried by insects, even. That could go for a drink of water and deposit some microbes when they go there. Yeah, I don't discount any of that.
Well, nature is just amazing. I mean, the fact that these cultivars that have the capacity, because of all of their nitrogen fixers or other nutrient cyclers that we haven't gotten to, that you can pull it out of the ground, leave it in a hostile environment, and then put it back in the ground and it takes off. I mean, what a great evolutionary strategy for resets. So whether it's a flood or whether it's a earthquake or whatever, they can just deal with it and come back, which is just amazing.
It really is. It really is. And if we had perfect knowledge about how plants were cultivating microbes, we would have probably been much more careful in how we cultivated our crops.
Or maybe more advanced.
Yeah.
As a species, right?
Yeah. Well, we certainly, the health issues that we have, in terms of microbiome health and some of the allergies and other things that people think may have to do with the microbiome, maybe we wouldn't have that if we didn't have the idea that we got to kill all our microbes.
Well, we used to treat food as medicine, and that kind of went out the window. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think where we could have evolved to if we had been a little bit less power driven and more driven toward the social responsibility and evolution of our own species. Yeah, there could have been a wonderful things that happened, and maybe there's still time. You know, maybe the sciences will surpass the power and money system to allow us these things that are so important.
I certainly hope there's time. I think there's time. Little by little, it looks like the world is changing. You know,
Agreed.
it's little by little. It's definitely little by little. But I mean, I can see things changing, and people, certainly with how we grow crops, people realizing that what we're doing isn't sustainable, more and more, and people are coming around. It's not instant, but we had our first couple of weeks ago. I never thought it would happen, certainly, but the Gates Foundation had an symposium on endophytes so that they could decide if they should invest in microbial endophytes in crops, if that was a solution, if that was at least part of a solution. So a bunch of endophyte people, and including me, and from all over the world, they invited, and they paid the way there for everybody, and then we had a 2-day symposium, and I hope that the result of that is that the Gates Foundation will begin to invest, and if they start to invest, then I hope the National Science Foundation and the more USDA investment, more is going to happen. I'm hopeful. So fingers crossed on that.
Those two, right? Everything I can cross, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, you are the potential future to providing food in a ever-changing world. I mean, we're never going to stop climate change or migration. I mean, look at the Sahara Desert. That was all grassland.
Oh yeah.
We have to be able to adjust, similar to that plant that you ripped out of the ground, brought it down for a day, and then it again.
Stick it back in. That's amazing, though, when you think about it. I mean, you rip the plant out. How many plants can do that?
Right?